Hi there. As you can see, Stoneco is up 11% today. They reported the results for the third quarter and they were amazing. And even though the stock price is up 10%, at the current market cap, Stoneco can double if they keep growing. So in this video, you'll find out the outlook of Stoneco and at the end, its fair value. So let's begin the analysis. You can see the analyst estimates. The revenue is expected to grow even more in the future, from 1.9 billion to 2.9 billion, and their profits, as you can see, are expected to rebound from a loss of almost 100 million to a profit over 300 million by 2025. And if they keep growing even more, because they have more opportunities, then the earnings will be even higher. Plus, their free cash flow is expected to be even higher, of around 800 million by 2025. So the outlook is great. Now let's look at the third quarter results, where you can see an amazing growth. The revenue has increased by 25% year over year, and their adjusted net income went up 4x. That's amazing. If you look segment by segment, let's start with their financial services. Revenue was up 29% from 2.1 billion to 2.7 billion. By the way, this is billion reais. Then their client base was up 41% from 2,000 to over 3,000. They added more than 300,000 clients in the third quarter, and that's great. Plus, their total payment volume was up almost 20%, over around 90 billion. And their take rate has increased a little to almost 2.5%. So they are doing great. Now for the key accounts, the total payment volume has decreased by 22% to over around 14 billion, but this doesn't represent a big part of their total payment volume, which is 90 billion. And for the key accounts, they have only 14 billion. However, the take rates for the key accounts have improved to over 1.1%. Then another opportunity that Stonko has is their banking segment. As you can see, their client base went up more than 3x from the last year. They have almost 2 million clients. And also the deposits has increased by 51% year over year to over around 4.5 billion reais. That's amazing. In addition to this segment, they have their credit solution. And their credit portfolio went up a lot, more than 6x. They're planning to expand this segment more in the future, but in a more conservative way. Now the next segment, software, has improved a little by almost 6%, and that's good, but be aware that most of their money comes from their financial segment, where the revenue was up almost 30%. Another important indicator which makes the stock price to go up is their net income. As you can see, it has more than doubled from almost 200 million to over 400 million, and that's amazing. That's why the stock price is up 11% today, because they reported those great results. Be aware that these are million reais. This would be around 83 million per quarter, or over 300 million a year. And if they keep growing even more, then the earnings will be even higher, because they have a lot of opportunities, especially from their credit solution and their banking segment. Plus, their total payment volume is expected to grow even more in the future. So they have a lot of growth ahead. Moreover, besides these great results, they announced share repurchase. They're planning to use around 300 million for buybacks. That will be around $60 million. At the current market cap of over 3.7 billion, the return will be around 1.7%. As you can see, the number of shares is quite stable. In 2018, they had around 280 million, and now they have 312 million. So they don't have a lot of dilution. And that's great. Now let's see the valuation. How much you can expect from this business. First, the risk. If Stoneco makes around 300 million a year in earnings, and they have no growth ahead, that is unlikely to happen, but anyway, let's focus on the risk first, then the fair value will be around 2.5 billion for a 10% annual return. Or if you want the fair value per share, that will be around $8.8. So, if you want a margin of safety, and that's great to have, this would be the fair value for a 10% annual return. But be aware that Stoneco has more opportunities. And the great scenario, where they may grow even more in the future, they might deliver more than 300 million in earnings a year, then the fair value will be around almost 5 billion or $17 per share for a 10% annual return. So the current market cap, your return may be around 20% or 21%. And that's great. 21% a year, that's an amazing return. However, as Stonko has more opportunities, they might deliver more than 300 million in earnings. If they deliver, let's say 400, then the value will be even higher, 6 billion. So everything depends on their future results. That's why you also have to be aware of the risk in case their earnings decline. And a normal case where they might grow a little, not that much, they'll maintain their earnings, the stock price seems fairly valid. The fair value will be around 3.7 billion for a 10% annual return, or $14 per share. So to sum up, Stoneco had an amazing quarter. Their results were great. Their profits has doubled, and they may continue so in the future. And at the current market cap, 3.7 billion, you may have an easy double. Be aware that the stock price has declined by over 80% from its peak. And now the stock price is quite cheap, based on future estimates. I think that this business will grow even more in the future, they have more opportunities, but we also have to be aware of the risk, especially the competition, PagSeguro and Mercado Libre. That can affect their future profits. And if you have any questions, please let me know in the comments.